And we're live. Hi, everyone. Welcome to this episode of the Dojo Kun Shill Shack. Today, my guest co-host is Jeremy Thevenot. Did I say that right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Close enough. Close
Awesome.
enough.
So he also is known as the Colonel, Zade Studios, and he's well known for his BECKONED RECOURSE campaign that he's working diligently on. I really can't wait for it, to be honest with you. I'm loving what I'm seeing. And I told Jeremy backstage or in some of our DMs that I almost don't care what it's about. I just want to see it. But he's also told me a little bit about what it's about, and that seems pretty cool as well. So I'm definitely looking forward to that campaign.
Oh yeah, this past week has been really cool. I've had 3 really amazing compliments like that in the past week, and guys, I'm excited that you're excited. So I'm making sure I'm putting everything into this. Chris Fisk said something about Sistine Chapel of comic books. I'm like, it feels like I got paint in my beard. Like I'm pushing. So we'll get there.
So before you shared any art for BECKONED, I had seen some of your art, and I thought it was really good. But this is like next level, dude. I mean, what I've seen from what you're doing on BECKONED, I'm like, damn, you could be conceivably one of the best artists in CG.
Well, thank you. That is the goal, but I have a lot to learn. Applying what I
we're
can
always
do.
Learning. Yep.
Yeah. So, my biggest weakness right now is panel layout. I'm not using artistry in the way I'm putting panels down. I'm still very rigid. It's a straight box. I'm not getting very stylistic or wispy with it or too experimental. And that's just something a reflex or something I'm gonna have to learn as I get better, spend time in this.
Well, I have seen plenty of great books that just had the straight grid. You know, a lot of what my artist does is just straight grid. He rarely goes off the beaten path like you're talking about, like somebody like a Joe Sontag, who's got various different shapes to all his panels and all that. But Zilson Costa works on.
Garcia looks like he just breaks the rules altogether. And that's kind of where I'm looking at. Is like I want to understand what he understands. Not saying that anything's bad about the more rigid or the more free. It's just I want to know if you're breaking the rules that much and it still works. It means you understand the rules probably better than most. So trying to find out how he's doing that is been fun.
You're right. There's something to be said for both, and if you can capture a little bit of the one you're not as familiar with, sometimes that can work as a dramatic change of pace in the book.
Yeah. So, I'm always learning.
That's great. So speaking of great campaigns, we've got 3 we're going to talk about tonight in addition to what we just did. And we've got some great guests coming on. We've got Mike Murphy here with us. Hi, Mike. We have Kevin Murphy with us. Hey, Kevin.
Hey, happy Wednesday.
Yeah, hello, right. Hello. And like I said, we've got 2 Murphys and we've got 2 Mikes. Here's Mike Tenner. Hi, Mike.
Hey.
How are you?
Hey, guys. Good, dude.
Welcome.
What we're going to do tonight is we're going to start with Mike Murphy's, or maybe not.
It looked like he was having mic issues.
Okay.
So jump back in a second.
All right. Well, what I'll do is I'll tell you folks what we're here to talk about. So Mike Murphy is with us to talk about his novel, Long Shadow. Kevin Murphy is here to talk about the book he's co-creating with Derek Clay, and it's called The Ballad of the Celestials. And Mike Tenner is here to talk about his campaign that is Black Jackets. So all of these look like, I love the names of all of them for various reasons. Black Jackets almost reminds me of those tracker jackers that were in Hunger Games. I'm sure there's nothing to do with that.
Makes it feel like a club, though, right? That's kind of
right.
That's kind of the idea. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So what we'll do then is we'll start with Black Jackets, Mike. While Mike Murphy is working on his technical issues. So I don't know. Would you like me to share the campaign on screen?
That's fine. Go right ahead.
Okay. I'll do that then.
And so I guess while you're pulling it up, I can just I'll give everybody a rundown on it.
Okay.
So it's a black and white series that's set in the early 90s and is about a group of teenagers who were prematurely thrusted into the role of monster hunters. And the Black Jackets is an organization of monster hunters, and they've been around for about 4 generations. They started in the early 1900s. And so these kids are kind of taking over for their parents who have went missing.
Oh.
And so what happens is like, you know, the missing parents trope of this ends up not really being the focus, because what happens is these kids have been on or in this role for about 6 months now, and they're starting to unravel all of these mysteries and conspiracies about the organization, the true intentions and the guarded history of the organization. And so you're kind of experiencing the wonder and awe as they are, even though they grew up in families that knew that monsters existed. It's all of the things that they didn't know that you're finding out with them, which makes it kind of exciting. And then obviously the banter between the kids is such an important part of this. It's a family story, really. It's about these kids becoming each other's families in the absence of their parents.
Oh, that kind of thing is something, I always try to write where the team members become more than just teammates, but a family unit or really close friends. So that's good. And I like the idea of discovering along with the characters. J.K. Rowling did that with Harry Potter, where you're thrust in there and Harry doesn't know what the heck is going on, and neither do we as viewers. So I can kind of hear that in what you're saying about Black Jackets, that we'll be discovering these things along with the characters. That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Something else that I think that, and I'm so glad that you brought up Harry Potter in this, because when I was putting this aspect of the story together, I didn't realize what I was doing until someone else pointed it out. But Black Jackets choose one of 4 disciplines, and it's like an area of specialization or study. Okay. And so you have engineering, alchemy, demonology, and sorcery. So the thing is the abilities that you have, the wealth of knowledge that you obtain from this, they're as kids, they were studying all of this stuff and trying to become masters of that discipline. So it's kind of like the 4 houses in Harry Potter, really.
Right.
And they all have a creature that's kind of like their totem, and a color scheme and all these things. So what ended up happening is like that started to become the thing that people that have read the books, they really wanted to know more about those specifically, because it definitely adds another layer of characterization to all the kids because of all the different specialties that they have and skill sets that they've acquired from that.
Okay. So would you like me to play the trailer?
Yeah, no, go right ahead.
Okay, let me do that then. We'll go like this and...
The Black Jackets.
Nice.
That's
That's
awesome.
a great trailer.
I dig it.
I'm glad it was really short, though, because that's AC/DC's Back in Black, isn't it?
I know.
Yeah.
Well, you know what's funny about it? So the guy that does all of our videos, because Bad Bug Media is the publisher that we're forming a publisher basically right now. So that's the name of it. But anyway, he's contracted basically to do all of our promo videos, and so he also makes all the music and everything.
Okay.
So when he made that, I was like, can we get away from this? He's like, yeah, I used a couple different notes, and they're kind of like, he's like, it's not note for note Back in Black, so we're okay. So
Yeah.
I don't, we'll see what happens, but yeah, he covered it up decently well, right?
Yeah.
Hopefully
yeah,
it won't
he's
get
a good
noticed.
animator.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if I was an algorithm, I wouldn't recognize it.
There you go. See, that's enough for me for right now. I can sleep at night, at least knowing that much.
Okay. So let me, let's see, I can bring this back down and we can go through the campaign. So I'll let you sort of guide me as to where you'd like me to scroll to and everything.
Great. Yeah. So first things first, this is us wrapping up the first story arc. So issues 4 and 5 is what this campaign is 4. So we're going to wrap up the first arc with 5. It has a lot of shocking conclusions in it that I think once you start to accept the tone of the series, this is a really great way to wrap things up. And what's going to happen is we're going to fast forward a few years after the events of this 5th issue. So we're gonna definitely watch these kids maturing into adults and seeing where they've since from the shocking events of this story arc, where we're going to go from there. So there's a little hint at the end of the 5th issue about what's happening next. But these are the main covers right here. We have a lot of covers on the campaign, so I guess we can go ahead and start scrolling through that. I like the tagline, "Monsters are real and they suck."
Yeah, right.
But we'll go down. A little bit of a breakdown on the issues of the past, but the preview is a fun little snippet there. So I'm from West Virginia. So and 3 of the other comic creators that are in my group are also from West Virginia. So we just decided to make this scene set in West Virginia. They just now had a sorcerer join the group. There wasn't a sorcerer in the group before, so they're all kind of learning, what the skill set of as a sorcerer. Those are a little bit more rare in terms of disciplines. There's not as many of those. So he's just out here kind of doing what sorcerers do. And what they typically are is they're the ones that kind of set up the fight. They're the ones that will guide monsters to where they need to go if they need to be pinned or trapped. In this instance, he needs to evaporate all the water out of the ground because there are some monsters underneath that are hanging out, and the only way to get them to come to the surface is you take all the moisture out of the ground. So he evaporates it all, and then we can scroll down a little bit more, and boom, these things come out. So they're being referred to as hogworms. So all the kids, not knowing they're not in a bestiary or anything like that. It's like a new thing for them. They thought it was worms that they were looking for because of the name, but then it ended up being dragons. So
yeah,
worm was spelled differently. They just didn't know it.
Yeah, exactly. So they were really misleading. Like obviously they're shocked about that. And then you see just a little bit of comedic relief here. One of these guys uses a performance enhancing elixir. He's an alchemist, and the vial broke, so now he's tapped out. He had nothing. He brought nothing else with him. He thought that would be all he would need.
Oh boy!
So he gets to head out to fight. But then this is the character Lynn, who has a retractable scythe that also is kind of like has a magnetic link to her, so she can throw it out and it'll come back to her. But she's the brutal one of the group, so you'll be seeing her really cutting them up and going through them, and she really enjoys hacking and slashing, obviously.
I see.
Lots of stretch goals, which are just trading cards that feature all the big bads from every issue.
Oh, okay.
When we get to 8K, we'll reveal another cover, or we'll just unlock another cover. So I'll tap another artist to make another cover once we get close.
Oh, I see. Okay.
And then some more trading cards, obviously, and then we end with a cover unlock for 5. So the covers. This is the star of the show. Something about the covers and all the Black Jackets issues is, it's a black and white book, and although the characters typically stay monochromatic, we like to have a theme for every issue. So every issue has a color theme. Issue number 1 was red. 2 was purple, 3 was green, 4 is yellow, 5 is blue. So as you go through, you're going to see all the variants for issue 4, and they take those yellow tones.
Right. Okay.
Nice.
Oh, you're right. There are a lot.
There are 12. And then there's the main cover for 5, which is my favorite cover that the main artist
I like
has
that.
done.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like this one too. We did a similar one on 4 with that one.
Oh, this is a good one too.
I like that one. Yeah. Good artist too. He's the artist on Heavy Metal Drummer for Behemoth.
Okay. I think I've heard of that one. Yeah.
And I really like this one. The kids are nowhere on that cover. It's just the house that they live in. And then I told every artist, I was like, hey, you can design any monster you want. Look at the book, read the book, tell me if you can come up with something that fits the tone. And Edward Bentley on this one pretty much did just that. So it's the only cover that we had that actually does not feature the kids at all on the cover.
That makes it different. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And so I'm not sure anyone would just back number 4 or number 5, but I thought to split them up just in case. Maybe somebody wanted to just throw $6 my way and just try out one of the issues, but I wanted to break them up just in case. But the thing that works in our favor here is we're using a color system so that people know which rewards they're getting. So as you go down, you'll start to see that we, yeah, there you go. You see both digital and so that way people can easily visibly see what they're getting as far as that tier goes. So some pretty standard stuff, obviously a lot of variant covers. I wanted to do something different. I didn't want to charge any more for any specific variant cover. You just back that issue, you choose your cover.
Okay.
So nice. Yeah. A lot of people, a lot of backers of mine in the past have requested that. Obviously, you got a catch-up tier, so that way, if you haven't really started reading, we're going to let you get all 5. And then we have bundles where you can just get all the covers for issue 4 and issue 5. I wanted to make those reasonably priced, too. A lot of campaigns, when I've seen that option, they're like charging like $100 for it. I want to make a low price point and make it feasible.
Wait, I want to ask you about one of these, this catch-up tier here.
Yeah.
So... I see that the red, the purple, the green, the yellow, but then for number 5, it's the text cover.
Right.
Can you select a different one for number 5?
Yeah, actually, right underneath it says your choice of covers for number 4 and number 5.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yep. Okay.
Yep.
All right.
So
good.
there's never an instance really in this campaign where you're forced to get a specific cover. You always get to choose what cover you're getting for those issues.
Now, for this one, though, if it's your choice for 4 and 5, I assume that you'll be choosing the covers for 1 through 3?
1 through 3 will be the standard cover A's.
Okay. That's cool.
Yeah, the variants are only available for the campaign. So, like, once the
yeah.
campaign's over, those variants are archived. We don't use them again. So there's the bundle for all the covers. And then underneath that is all of the books that we have under Bad Bug right now.
Whoops,
so you can
I'm sorry.
pick up. Yeah, no problem. You can pick up all the books with that bundle, which is, I think that's 12 books or 11 books, but $90 for 11 books. And one of those is a trade. So you're getting an 80-page graphic novel with that too. You know, there's a lot of great titles in there. I'm kind of biased because I wrote half of them, but
you're allowed to be biased.
yeah, it's fucking awesome. But you know, but the thing, ultimately, at the end of the day, it's a great way to just kind of get exposed to a lot of different creators, and a lot of what we do under Bad Bug tends to be monsters, humorous, tendencies towards horror. Like a lot of it just kind of leans that way. So if that's your bag, great. There's a lot of different varieties of books that deal with those same themes.
So now, this is a way to get your entire back library. Not only do I think that's a great idea, but I did it too.
Did you?
My top tier on CME is to get the whole back library. So that's a great idea. Yep.
Yeah. And you have the option to add those on individually too. So when we get to the add-ons, you'll see that. But here's the breakdown of the 5 disciplines. I overindulged here and just gave you a lot of information on these disciplines. You can choose whatever you want to do there. If you want to read it, great. But ultimately, $70 gets you a T-shirt, a jacket patch, and a hat with the totem symbol for engineering. So that's the engineer pack, and then you're getting issues 4 and 5 with that. If you want to get 1 through 3, you can just add them on to the tier. Alchemist, same thing. Demonology, same thing. And sorcery, the same thing. And this is where I wanted to really kind of like, for people that have been following along, I wanted them to come to this point and get tripped out because it's never been mentioned in any of the books what a biomancer is or what the discipline is, but it gets hinted at in issue 4. So it's going to be one of those things like, oh, this is new. All right, in issue 4, you're going to learn about it, but there was a secret. Well, not so secret now, but there was a secret 5th discipline. You had to master the other 4, and then you got to be a biomancer. Nice. So in this package, you're getting all the other packages. You're getting all of the covers for issues 4 and 5, and you're going to be drawn as a black jacket and have a speaking part in issue 5.
Oh, nice.
There's
a lot
only 3
of people like
available.
Drawn in tiers.
So that's the big tier. That's like, hey, if you're a hardcore fan, this is absolutely for you. As you can see, there's not a lot of information I put up there for biomancy, right? I wanted to have that space up there to kind of prove a point of Yeah, there's nothing out there on this right now.
Mm-hmm.
But we also chose, as I said, there's a monster or an animal for every totem. In biomancy, we decided to make a creature, so we don't know what that thing is. It just looks like a bear with antlers. But
right, yeah. I was thinking
yeah.
an elk bear or a
Sure.
belt.
I don't know. I told the guy that draws these, I was like, hey, just give me a bear with antlers, and then
A water bear.
stuff like a water. Yeah, just do something a little weird, you know.
Okay, let's have a look at the add-ons here.
Yeah, that's the Bad Bug Library. Get to see some images of it, so you can see the covers a little bit more clear. You can be a Black Jackets. There's a limit of how many you can do, but add on for $100. You can get drawn as a Black Jacket. Those are some examples of other people that have backed, and we have 10 tarot cards. Every campaign, we add more tarot cards. The idea is by the time we get to the trade, you'll be able to get all the major arcana. But right now we're at 10, and there's just some examples of what those look like.
Okay.
And then we have a couple enamel pins, and
Lynn's Scythe is one of them. That's cool.
Yeah, her scythe. And then Zozo is the familiar for one of the characters, Asa. She's a demonologist, and one thing the demonologists do is they catch a familiar. So she has an amulet that Zozo lives inside, and then at any moment's notice she can let him out. And he's an informer. He has a lot of knowledge on a lot of malevolent spirits and creatures, and so he's the one that really tells them, hey, this is a weakness that they have, or stay away from this, and that kind of stuff.
Okay.
And then when we get to the creative team, I decided this time I wasn't going to bother with this because I don't think many people care. So I put it on at the end just so you know people did work on this. But bios and all that stuff. If anybody read through all of that and got to that point, kudos to them. I'm not going to make them learn about me. All right, everything they can about the book.
You know what? I recognize the name Francisco Tomaselli.
He's a good artist.
Yeah. What else has he worked on that I mean,
I don't know. I couldn't tell you because most of what he's done, he's an Italian artist, and a lot of the books that he has done have been for Italian publishers.
Oh, okay.
He hasn't really done a lot stateside. I think he did something for Source Point Press, but I can't remember what it was. I think it was something with Bob Sally as the creator. But I'd have to ask him again.
Yeah, I'll have to search him out and find out because I definitely recognize the name.
Well, he's popular on social media because he has a very unique style. He's very painterly, and he obviously, like a lot of artists, they'll illustrate things that are popping up in the news. Like when Moon Knight was big, he did a Moon Knight illustration. When they first announced the trailer and stuff, so he gets down. So he tries to stay current with the pieces that he posts. They're always socially relevant for the time.
Wow, there's a lot of great stuff on this campaign. I like how you made it. You can do bundles, you can do a la carte. I do like having the choices. You're right, you do have a lot of variants. I learned on my last campaign that can be difficult to fulfill. On the other hand, if you got a whole bunch of orders, that's a good problem to have, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So let's have a quick look here. I'm going to go back up to the top. So you have you're fully funded. Yep.
With 131 backers right now.
With 2 weeks to go.
2 weeks to go. We're trending to have a best campaign for Black Jackets. I would say it's my lowest performing campaign out of everything that we run. But every issue it's grown. Like we haven't had any regression or recession, I should say. And this one had the biggest opening for sure. And I guess what I would say is that we're probably going to close at maybe 300 backers based off of the trend that we've had on the previous campaigns. So should be exciting. Hopefully we can get the word out about this. This is the first podcast I've been on to talk about it, actually.
Oh,
so,
wow. It's exclusive here on Dojo Kun. I love it.
Yeah, right. Debut. So, but
nice.
Yeah, there you go.
I hope we get some backers for you. You and I talked in the DMs before you came on, and I was asking you if you're going to bring this campaign to Indiegogo as well. And you said you've got a great following on Kickstarter, that you're considering Indiegogo, and something that Nefarious reminded us the last time I talked to him is you can port this over to Indiegogo and bring your totals with you. I don't know if it looks like you're nodding like you knew that already, right?
I'm familiar with it. The process,
Okay.
I'm not. I did run 2 campaigns already on Indiegogo. Well, 3 actually. The last 2 did pretty good. And then left them up as in-demand campaigns. So I think Indiegogo, that's how you do it though, right? I think
Right.
it had to have already been ran on Kickstarter.
Oh, no,
Is that right?
you don't have to start a Kickstarter, not at all.
Okay.
A lot of folks just started Indiegogo. They run either a 60-day campaign or 2 30-day periods and then go in demand. But the great thing about Indiegogo is you've got that in demand. So after you run a Kickstarter, you port it over to Indiegogo, you can go in demand, and then that sort of acts like an online store for you.
Yeah.
Because you're already in fulfillment if you want to be. And then as people order more, you can just fulfill immediatti
That's exactly what's happened. The last 2 that I ran on Indiegogo, we did that. We did in demand, and I let them run. Well, I was talking with you about Vanya, because that was actually how we first started talking, was Vanya.
Right.
Yeah, I ran that for like 2 months. That in demand was going for about 2 months, and then it slowed down. And we're getting ready to launch the campaign for number 2. So it seemed like the right time to go ahead and just let the fulfillment die down for that, so we could start really focusing on 2.
Well, one thing you can also be aware of is in Indiegogo, when it's in demand, so long as there are sales each month, they'll let it stay up. If there's ever a month that there are no sales, they do take it down. So, I mean, it's up to the individual as to whether or not they want to leave it up there and let it go away through attrition, or they decide to take it down. For example, like you just said, you're going to have another campaign for issue number 2. You don't want that other one out there lingering. You're going to start looking at fulfillment for Vanya number 2. So you want to get that done and close that out.
Yeah,
so
you'll be able to pick up one on number 2. So
like a catch up here. Yeah.
Okay. Kind of really,
Yep. Okay, great. Well, listen, thanks for coming on. I'm not going to have you leave us, though. I'd like you to stick around.
No, I want to check out everyone else's work.
So, how you doing, Mike? Is your technical issue taken care of?
Yeah, the second you dropped me in, all my audio just died. I was like,
All right. So, and you said you'd like me to share your campaign too. So I'm gonna do this. Let me remove that, and then nope. First, I have to tell it I'm going to share. Try not to do too much boomerang here.
That's the goal.
It's part of the charm.
Everyday goal.
Yep.
Right. We'll see how I do. And then long shadow, and voila. Okay, so this one here, you are got almost 2 weeks as well. You are at 66% of your $4,000 goal, so you've got a good start here. So tell us about Long Shadow, a high fantasy pulp novel, and direct me as you'd like me to scroll. In fact, first let me ask, do you want me to start with the trailer, or do you want to discuss it first?
Yeah, let's do the trailer first.
Okay, let's do
it's not up, Dojo.
Oh, yep, thank you. There's one more button I have to press. I'm getting there. Sorry.
That's all good.
There we go.
All right.
And Dave Brink tells me that boomerang on my show is endearing. I don't know if I should take that as a compliment, though.
Awesome. Thank you.
I like that line. You know, tough dudes, hot chicks.
Yeah.
Vile villains. Yes.
Yeah. So basically, I really dig the format and overall many and varied genres that pulp covered back in the day, and this is my attempt to modernize it for current audiences.
Cool.
So Long Shadow, elevator pitch time. Long Shadow is your new favorite ogre detective for hire, starring in a hard-boiled fantasy noir epic. As the trailer stated, we open with Redlocks approaching Long Shadow with a job to hunt down the Prince of Echoes. And the Prince of Echoes is kind of my interpretation of a fantasy take on vampires. Instead of consuming blood, the Prince of Echoes consumes someone's soul, spirit, whatever you want to think of it as, literally, consuming them out of existence entirely, and then possesses the shell of their body and uses that up until it's time for a new host. So he's tasked with hunting down this being that can take on any form, any person, any identity, and that's where a lot of the detective work comes in. And yeah, it's like the trailer says, it's a lot of epic fights, it's a lot of hot chicks, it's everything that you want from the format and the genre, but modernized and brought to today's audiences. So I'd love everyone to come check it out.
So, Mike, there's a lot of art that you showed in the trailer and here on the campaign. Is it just peppered throughout the novel, or is this a graphic novel and I've misunderstood?
No. It is a pulp novel. So
Okay.
there's going to be between 20 and 30 spot illustrations divvied up between all the chapters of the book.
Okay.
Sometimes there'll be chapter headings, so like full splash pages. Sometimes they'll just take up like a third of the page. It's going to vary from page to page.
Sure. I like it when they do that in novels. It gives me, although I can picture what's going on, it gives me a good visual representation of some of the characters. So I like when they do that. And I also like this up here where the novelist includes a map.
Yeah.
I do like the maps.
Turns out people really dig maps. That was one of the very first things that sold the original art for it.
Okay. So let me go back to scrolling down here, and you can tell us. Oh, and there's a better shot of the map.
Yep, there you go.
I was looking at marrow dirt. That speaks of like bones in the dirt. I like that one.
Yeah. So I've talked about this on a couple different streams. Artists and writers. I've gotten into it with them about map creation and like why some of them find it difficult. I think it's just about realigning the way your brain approaches the idea of maps. If you stop looking at them in terms of like designing like topography and forest areas and stuff like that, and you start thinking about it in terms of storytelling,
Cool.
I think that completely recenters your brain, and you can just start having fun with the design of the map.
Gotcha.
That's great,
Okay.
Ted.
Yep.
Thank you. Yeah, so Marrow Dirt is, and again, this is all world building that we probably won't get into until like volumes 2 or 3. Marrow Dirt was several hundred years ago where, there was basically a Titan war. They're called Goliaths in my book. And, the whole land is just peppered with like the fossilized remains of these, Titans.
So it does make sense that it's marrow dirt. Yeah.
Yep, it literally is.
Where the last gargantuan
Goliath, where the last Goliath fell.
Where? Oh, you're looking at that here?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I got it blown up on my end. I'm reading the fine print.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Sorry, Dojo. My bad.
So yeah, real quick, like that's another thing. Like I think one of the things too that helps with designing map is don't be afraid to add actual notes as if this was a map that was possessed by somebody, and they were making like little notes to themselves throughout it.
Oh, yeah.
Cartographer.
Yeah.
Exactly. Avoid the rodents of unusual size over here.
Exactly. Exactly.
So this is impressive. Over the top without being over the top. I like it.
Yeah, I mean, if you go back to Robert E. Howard and like some of his more famous creations, and if you look at stuff like John Carter, and the entire genre and format is filled with, basically, for lack of a better word, fan service. But it is what it is,
Mm-hmm.
Fire and Ice, is that
Yep,
the
Fire and Ice.
yeah. Ralph Bakshi. Yeah.
Clothes are optional.
Yeah.
Yeah, he looks really cool.
Yeah, I was going to say, he doesn't appear to have any on.
One thing I wanted to say, I'm a big D&D and Rollmaster player of like the original books, and a lot of the art from this, especially that yellow like based cover, is really screaming like first edition
Awesome,
like style to me.
Yeah, I'm trying to capture the look and feel, and as a matter of fact, like assuming we can hit funding and assuming we can start working towards our main stretch goal, if we hit 8K, I'll be adding a world book onto the campaign that kind of is built to look and emulate the feel of like D&D monster manuals from the 80s.
Oh, nice.
Yep.
There's a lot of us who are fans of
awesome.
that. I'm an OG D&Der, so I'm into that.
Absolutely, man.
I've got the first release that came in the blue box. So.
Wow.
Yeah.
You're okay, man.
So this looks like Simon Poitier's signature, right?
Yep, the one and only. So this was one of the most recent additions to the campaign. Every physical backer is going to be getting a print of this piece that Sim worked up for us.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Very cool.
And who did this one?
So this is by Matt Burke. He's been a huge supporter of the campaign, and he worked up this illustration and allowed us to list the original art for it on the campaign as a perk. So
Matt is Metal Movies and Brewskis, right?
that is correct.
Okay. Yep.
That is correct. He is the creator of Butch Cleaver.
So I want to go back up and look at the yellow. So this is what you're talking about, right, Jeremy? That this is reminiscent of the D&D cover. Yeah. I can definitely see what you're saying there.
And a lot of the internals, like where the ogre is like dealing with the sword. Like if you scroll down a couple bit more, there, Dojo, a little bit further. That one.
There you go.
That one. Yeah, that one looks like it's in a monster manual or
in
an adventure book.
Yeah.
Yes. It looks great. But
man.
Like that yellow cover has like hits that style aesthetic of those original stuff.
That was thank you. That was definitely an influence, and a bit more of a deeper cut, but since this is a modern take on pulps, it's all pulps, not just American pulps. And over in Europe and Italy, they had the giallos at the same time that pulps were running here, and they were the same thing, except they were predominantly crime focused instead of like fantasy or sci-fi.
Okay.
And they were called giallo because giallo's Italian for yellow. So all the covers had yellow covers with circular inset illustrations. So, yeah.
It's probably what's familiar to me. I've probably seen that somewhere and I didn't know.
Yeah. I mean, like if you look up giallo covers, like they're gorgeous.
I was scrolling down to see if Gygax's name was on here somewhere. But... Now, whose name is this, though? Who did this cover for you?
So this is Jeff Lasley. Me and Jeff, we followed each other online for a few years now, and I like the case with most artists. Like I've been looking for an excuse to work with him, and when I came up with this idea of doing a pulp release at the start of the year, he was pretty much the only artist I thought of.
Okay.
He, as you can see from the interiors, he does do traditional illustration, but for the most part, he likes working in acrylics and sometimes oils, but mostly acrylics. Mm-hmm. And he just has this really classic painterly style that I love.
So let's take some time to look at your tiers real quick. This is the swag bag, your featured tier at $50. Tell us about this one.
You got it. So just like with every campaign we do, there's always going to be a swag bag. And this one comes with one copy of the book, one copy of the prequel novella, A Murder in Amberglass. It's going to come with a trading card, a print of the map. You're going to be getting a Long Shadow sticker, and you're also going to be getting a mini poster of the main cover.
Oh, nice. Okay. You got the Australian edition right here.
Yeah, exactly.
How big is the map of Elo's print?
I'm probably going to reduce it to like about 5x7 or somewhere in there. The original is like full 11x17 Bristol.
Nice.
Yeah.
That'd be nice to have too.
Mm-hmm.
I'll
Yes,
see what
it
I can
would.
Someone though snapped that up. You said though, right?
Yeah, like I think the first or second day it was gone.
Okay. So you got a digital edition for 15.
Mhm.
You got the main cover at 20. Okay. Preston Acevedo did this. Okay.
Yes. I the only directions I gave him was I said go full Frazetta.
I love it. Yeah, the lighting on this is insane.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Yeah.
Obviously, the AAT is awesome, but you know what? The sword is pretty cool too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm really happy. I handled the character designs for Jeff to work off of, and I'm pretty happy with the sword design. I wanted something that kind of felt reminiscent of. I don't know if there are any like Samurai Jack people out there, but I wanted it to feel like Aku, the main antagonist of the series.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, like Preston always does our alternate covers, and I love all of them, but I think this is clearly my favorite he's done so far.
It's very nice.
Awesome. It's awesome.
I see you've got both covers at 43. Okay.
Mhm.
Oh, so the Preston one will be in black and white.
Yeah, so he always does black and white pencil covers for all of our campaigns. I just like the way they contrast with like the main full color images or covers.
Okay.
Yeah, although he has said he wants to play around with some of the gray tones, so there's going to be a bit more polish than what's listed here.
So the digital chibi pack. I know that
I didn't know.
It's not actually chibi stickers, right?
No. So yeah, and the physical edition of the Chibi pack sold out, so all that's available is the digital. I blatantly stole this idea from Mandy. I like the idea of every campaign is someone's first exposure to your company, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this is a glorified catch-up pack. Like every time we do a new campaign, we're just going to add another book to the stack. And you can get all of our stuff all in one go from campaign to campaign.
Excellent. Yep.
I wanted to say during the trailer, I had noticed the samurai and dinosaurs.
Yeah.
We had brought that up on Art Bros a couple, like maybe 2 months ago. We were just looking up at random stuff in the movement that was catching our eye.
Yeah.
And that book caught my eye heavy. Like I was like, "Oh, this is awesome!" So I saw it in your trailer. I'm like, "Okay, this is the guy. All right. This is the creators. All right, that's awesome."
Yeah. Kelsey killed it with that one.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, what is this one? Tell us about this tier.
So I've been adding. Jeff has been kind enough to sell the original art for each illustration. The first two that we had listed sold, and this is Long Shadow squaring off against the Red Key. Part of one of the reasons why I wanted to launch this campaign at the start of the year was I wanted something to get into people's hands fast within like 6 months. Because I knew that we were going to have two big campaigns launching later this year, and those are going to take the better part of a year to get into people's hands. And one of those campaigns is the Red Key, our big superhero project. The Red Key deals with the manipulation of time and space, the multiverse. As I said in the trailer, like I'm building the real Murphyverse. F what you heard about DC. So yeah, like this is kind of like the blueprint, not blueprint, but this is the starting point for like seeing the connective tissue run through all of our titles. It's never going to be like Sam Jackson walking into the room and trying to recruit characters. It's never going to be that. It's more the approach that Stephen King takes to a multiverse, where like if you read everything, they're all standalone, but you're going to start to see that connective tissue, like I said.
Oh, okay.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Gotcha. I like that.
So yeah, this is going to be the Red Key's first appearance, and I can't wait to tell you more about it.
Sweet. Premium swag.
Yeah. So
3 of 8?
the premium swags are, you get everything from the standard swag set, but you're also going to be getting the original character designs that I worked up for Jeff to work off of.
Okay.
Yeah. So this one you're going to be getting the Prince of Echoes.
Gotcha. And then, a drawn-in tier. Okay. Yep.
Mhm.
That's great.
Yeah.
So what kind of character would you be drawn in as?
So basically, there's going to be a point in the book where you see not all, but several of the past lives of the Prince of Echoes, and you're going to see them all at once, and that's going to be the opportunity to like drop in backers' faces and likenesses.
Oh, you get to be one of the Prince of Echoes. I like it.
Yeah,
I like being the bad guy.
absolutely.
I'm the bad guy in Aerith's saga.
Oh, that's awesome.
I'm Vid Mantis.
Nice, nice.
Okay, so the Matt Burke pinup. All right,
Mhm.
cool. And the prequel novella. Oh, the original art from the prequel novella. All right.
Yeah, so you'll be getting the cover for A Murder in Amberglass, which takes place 8 years before the start of book 1, and it's the night that Long Shadow arrives in the small town of Coal on Brick. He stops into Amberglass, the local tavern, and within a half hour of being there, there's a murder. All eyes are on him because he's a 7-foot-tall ogre. And so his first night with mankind, he has to solve a locked room murder and clear his name at the same time.
Oh my gosh. The original
the
art
map,
from-
the original art of the map is already gone.
Yeah, that's gone,
Yeah.
man. And then go ahead.
Is the map the complete world, or will there be more stuff like islands and things like that that are on the map?
For the most part, it's complete as far as most of the series is concerned, but it's not a standalone landmass. It does continue up and to the left, but this is the Kingdom of Elos, and it's where most of the series is going to be set in.
Nice.
All right, so I'm going to go to the top of the campaign here. I'll do a refresh. Did we get any more?
Uh-oh.
Is it?
No.
No, not yet. Well,
Not
I hope
yet.
that people will take a chance to look closely at the details and give this a chance, because, like you said, first appearance of Red Key. It's a high fantasy pulp, and you're mixing a bunch of genres. I like the idea,
Thank you.
yeah, the art.
Mhm.
The art on the snippets that you provide throughout the book look great, and you've got some great artists involved too. So
Absolutely.
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh, who's in the tower, or do we figure that out later?
Oh, that's the Prince of Echoes, man.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. So let's take the opportunity now to go over to Kevin Murphy's campaign. So I'm going to stop sharing that. Kevin, it looks like we're getting up toward the top of the hour. Don't worry, I don't mind if we go over, as long as you don't.
Hey, I can go fast. So
You can go fast.
whatever you need, I'm good.
All
either
right.
way.
Well, we don't want to gloss over it. We'll take a
Okay.
look at your campaign and give you fair time. Ballad of the Celestials.
Not my first time seeing this one.
Right?
Back again, I mean, almost with the same compliments. Is like very like I've played some of the things that have been put to visual representation, and it's in tabletops. Like they capture like is this tabletop day? Like
Right?
This is good stuff. Good stuff. But Ballad of Celestials, yes, we had it on Art Bros. I think what was it, 2 weeks ago or a week
It's
and a half?
hard. I've been on so many shows. I have no idea what.
Good for you.
I don't even know what
Good for
month
you.
we're in. So
Good for you though. But yeah, this has been an awesome one, been floating around.
All right, so let me do this. I know I've got to press one more button to get it up. Oh, it's not. What? There we go. Okay, you want me to start with the trailer?
If you would, please.
All right, let's do that.
Before the ancient flood, continents are connected, mankind is divided, and the Celestials are perched in wait. Because of this, an evil force arises to conquer the earth. Mare and his small group of warriors encounter this evil and are thrust into a crisis that will disrupt the fate of humanity.
Wow.
Yeah,
Is that-
so
Is that Ugly Tongue?
yes, that is ugly. Tongue.
Okay, I thought so.
Derek won't allow anything else. It's, self-promotion is always a big thing. So, but I really like their band. So, but yeah, so Ballad of the Celestials. This is our history. All of our ancient cultures have this mythology that at one point were their religions, and so we're going into that time. We're kind of opening it up and making it all make sense. Not just the mythologies, but also going into, our physical history, where this is Pangea, where all the continents are one at this time. Also, we'll go over why the pyramids were made and how and for what reason, and the Great Wall of China, and all those great things that even with all the technology we have today, and we're so much smarter than back then, can't do today. So,
Right.
So we'll be going into all of that, and of course, it's not just mythology. There's a little bit of like fantasy and supernatural put in there as well. So I mean, the big thing would be, if you like Lord of the Rings, if you liked Conan, things like that. I think you'll really dig Ballad of the Celestials. When we unveil who the Celestials are, I think people will like them. Kind of a hodgepodge of things, and some things kind of I've made up myself to try to make everything make sense. And it's always going to be a team comic. So right here, you kind of see the team members of our first book, even though Mare's kind of our in center. He's like on all of our covers and everything like that. It's just because he's the leader. His life is kind of interesting. Where we're at here is Mare has left his homeland because of 2 generations before him. His grandparents were big in defending mankind from this great evil that was trying to take over our world. And because of that, he left hometown trying to think he had more to do in life, and kind of went and tried to find any type of monster or beast that was still left over from that evil reign. And as he's done that, he's went to many other kingdoms, cultures, tribes. Sorry, that's my cat. She's excited about the book too.
There you go. Yep. She's helping you show.
Yeah, all the beasts and animals that will be in it. But so he's been on many of the campaigns, and he's kind of, met all these warriors that have stuck with him and now are a family because they've been doing it this long. And so our main guy, Mare, he's the team leader. He's kind of a defender. He's always willing to do the right thing. He's got a very cool weapon. It's a battle axe that also has a pike on top of it because he kind of wants just this free will of fighting. He's that one. He's just going to be swinging. He wants to be in the middle of everything. As you can see in the one picture, tons and tons of blood when he kills the beast. Then his second command is Zune. She'd be from like the Asian area of Pangea. She's fierce She's strong-willed, strong-minded. She's very patient, pragmatic. She's the one that kind of keeps everyone level-headed because you know what? Back then, you didn't have air conditioning. You didn't have toilets. It's easy, even though they're a family, to get in a good argument. You know what I mean? If the cook doesn't cook something good that night, you're trapped, especially because they're out on the road. They don't even have, because they're going after beasts, they don't have horses or things like that to go with them. They're kind of just walking everywhere, so they don't have many resources, really living off the land. So she's going to keep everyone, in a good mood. And talking about good mood, next is Chiro. He's the youngest of the group. He's like the little brother. He's the heart of the group. He's very funny, very lovable. And even though he's small, he can still fight. He uses his speed and his momentum. He also has some little daggers that he uses, but everyone kind of tries to protect him just because he is so small. Then the fourth one, it's okay. She's pressuring me more to get that hour done.
Easy there, Siegfried.
So then our fourth one here is Edelburn. He's the oldest. I don't know if I'd say the wisest. He's wise in certain areas, especially as a beast master. He understands animals and what you kind of need to do. That's what his kind of life was before he met Mare. Where Mare met all of the rest of them in battle and as warriors, Edelburn was kind of at a different place where they met. But Edelburn is very much into dynasty and the gods and religion. So he feels like Mare has this like calling, that's something great, and that's why he's like stuck with him. And they've all stuck for different reasons. And then our last, not least, your favorite, because the bow and arrow, you always got to have one if you got a team. Sabra, he's the scout and tracker. So when they are looking for beasts, he's the one that's going to be able to find everything. And again, all their personalities kind of go with their weapons. He's very guarded. He's probably the most mysterious of the group. He hasn't let them all know about him. And because of that, he's always fighting in either trees or in brushes. A lot of times you won't even see him there in the battle. And so
he's your sniper.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, he's there really to get everyone's back, especially if because they fight, so many of them fight in the battle. He's there if someone actually gets around them, because that's the one thing. You don't want to be flanked when you have such a big area. So yeah, he's very important. They're all very important, and they'll all have their own times where they're the main character, even though Mare's kind of our main one. So we've tried to keep it simple because we've listened to everybody. With us being rookies in our first campaign, we've kept it to 3 covers. So that's, you saw the standard cover first. Now this is the second. This is our homage. It's to I think is it Mike Zeck, Captain America.
Captain America Annual number 8.
Yeah, so Mare is Wolverine in the picture with his claws, and then the Beast is Captain America. And it really worked well because that cover, Wolverine is very orange and Cap's very blue, how they did it. And both of them have that anyway. So it was a happy accident, but perfect and came out really well. And then so here's some, they're trying to track this beast because this is been around from that evil force, and this beast is a catalyst to something. They find out something that kind of changes everything that they're doing. So because of this, they start heading to Mare's hometown, and when they get there, they intercept this group that wants to kind of bring his kingdom down because they don't believe that humans should be in kingdoms or houses or anything like that. We should live out in the wild like the animals, like everything else does. And so there go. You get some arguments because of decisions they have to make.
Right here?
Yeah. Mare and Edelburn. So
I love that hand. I love that hand.
Yeah. You know what? People weren't, back then, not only was it hard with like eating and, having to crap outside, but, people didn't, people weren't as nice. I don't have time for stuff. So, it is a different world like that. And I think our characters will show that. And not just that, not just like the hardships, but you'll get more things, which I think people really like about fantasy is like the honor and camaraderie that you have with people. So you get that as well, even though they're, kind of like soldiers. If you got a war movie, these guys are grumpy and hardened, but, they're also going to put down their lives for each other. And this is our third cover. It's our wraparound, which is a little extra. The First two covers are $15 and this is $20, but you can get all three for the low price of $45, which is saving $5.
Yeah.
And then this is our whole team. There's just 4 of us. We went with Eric Weathers because I think you have to. I don't think there's any other choice. And then Dojo Limo we found on Facebook. I just looking at his stuff, what really made me want to get him is he had this comic of the like Lego figures, and he made the colors on them where there's not a lot you can do with them, but it was dynamic. I'm like, wow, if he can make that dynamic, what could he do with our stuff? And so, as of right now, he's staying with us. We hope we can keep him for the long term. He's already working with Marvel, DC, and Image, so that makes us a little nervous, but
yeah, right. Okay, let's go through the tiers real quick here. We've got all 3 variants, and that's what you just mentioned. That's your featured tier at $45.
Yeah, that picture there is our standard cover, the team cover.
This one over here on the left, yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
So then you've got the digital.
Yeah, like you said, the Australia edition. It's just, boy, I'm glad. It was one of those things we weren't sure because we've heard in the community that there are some people that don't like the idea of it, but we wanted to have ease of access, 1.
Right.
2, the prices are so bad, and who knows? We're telling people that we're going to deliver 6 months after. I mean, we feel like we could do a lot sooner than that, but every day things are just changing, so who knows how things will be. So digital, I feel, even myself, I've been going more digital just because who knows what's going to happen. So ease of access, really. And so then our standard covers there, the team cover, the homage,
right,
and then the wraparound.
Oh, yep, you did keep it simple. Kudos to you for that.
Which that wraparound is one of my favorite pieces in here. Like the wraparound is awesome, and your team one, your main one is awesome. But
none of it's awesome. None of it's false advertisement. Those actually happen in the book. Now, it might not be the same exact picture or view, or maybe it might be in between 2 panels, but they all are actually events. Book story. That happens.
Okay.
And then all the physical tiers get the digital because we didn't want them to feel like, oh, the digital people will get it so much sooner and quicker, just in case they wanted to. And so we've hit our goal. So now we're on our first stretch goal of 3,000 to do. It's a metal card. We actually have the picture for the card all the way down. It's a metal trading card. We're going to probably keep black and white. We're going to be getting it physical. We're still waiting on it, and then that's probably what we're going to start using to promoting with our last 30 days. And with it, it's not just a card to have. Cards will have something to do with our world. And so down the road, we hope to have an actual game where the reason it's metal, it's because it's their armor card, like their warrior card. And that's why Mayor there's even in his armor on the card. So we'll keep it limited to this. So people won't be able to get this card down the road. It'll just be.
And it seems like once you get to that one is when you'll reveal the next one. That's a good tactic. I like that.
Yeah, we actually talked about it on our thing, letting people know is we were going to do a map, but it's not a world map. It'd be a more map of where they start in the book and where they end, but then also the mayor's kingdom, his hometown, the side of the map, we were then going to show like a almost like a blueprint of how his kingdom is made and everything that is in there. So you kind of get some clues of what might happen in the next issue. So we'll probably end up actually putting that up on there. We just started.
I advised against sharing it, but no.
you got outvoted. I think you were the only one who said no, which I was more no too, Dojo. I was on your side with that. But the chat, man. If you don't give them what they want, your head's gonna roll.
They'll riot.
I know.
You need some T-shirts of that raven crow symbol that's next to your logo.
Yeah, the bird.
Also a 10 grand goal is for you to get that tattooed tramp stamp.
Oh man, that's pretty cool. Maybe I should get it, right? Maybe I'll get like right in the side.
That's what I'm saying. Get you a tramp stamp. Yeah.
It's like no matter what, then I have to always produce it if you have the tattoo on your neck. It's just the motivation for keep going.
Oh, I was talking about film you getting the tramp stamp on you.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Exactly. Yep.
That would be that family members and friends, that would be lovely for all of that. So many people would enjoy that. That would
it could seriously make a good T-shirt, though. I mean, just that symbol, really large. That's a really neat emblem.
We've had some coworkers ask us for that, but again, we try to keep it. We try to keep it simple, just ease of access to everyone. And are you kidding me? You know how many ideas I had for like I had actually idea for do the Celestial edition, which changes the comic and how it looks and how it's colored. But we're like, no, we'll do that down the road. That'll be when we have a couple issues and make it like a special edition down there.
There you go. Maybe after you get a few issues, you can do a trade paperback and combine it for that.
Yeah.
That's what I was going to say. Maybe if you do it for the trade.
Yeah, that'd be a good idea. I can also picture one of the variant covers for the trade is just one solid color with that crow symbol on it.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, great, guys.
Thank you.
Yeah, you bet. So what I'd like to do now is we've gone over a few minutes, but I still want to take some time to talk to you guys about how folks can find you on the social networks. So what we'll do is we'll start with you, Mike Tenner. Tell us where we can find you, and again, mention where we can find your campaign.
Sure. So best way to find me right now is Facebook, just under Mike Tenner. Not many people have that name, so it sticks out. And we are on Twitter now under Bad Bug Media. So just at Bad Bug Media, and you'll find us on there. I think our icon right now is the monkey monster from Black Jackets. So if you'll know you pulled up the right account if that's what you're seeing in the profile image. And then on Kickstarter, just type in Black Jackets #4.
Okay.
As soon as you do that, it'll be the first thing that pops up.
Excellent. Okay. Yeah. Mike Murphy, why don't you tell us where we can find you on the socials?
Yeah. So you can find me on Twitter at Chibi_Mike. And you can also find me on YouTube at the Chibi Mike, all one word. As far as our campaigns go, just look up Long Shadow on Indiegogo. And we've also got a first printing leftover campaign going for The Gods Fear Me. So if you're interested in checking that out, head over there as well.
Excellent. Thank you, sir. Kevin?
Okay, my Twitter is right there at KJMurphy518. Also, me and my partner in crime, we have a YouTube show every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern, where we try to have some fun and we try to have guests, and that's pretty much it. Derek, my co-ed, he has a Twitter too, but it's really difficult. So to describe it, it's just hopefully you find it. Once you pick it, you got to stick with it. So he made a terrible choice.
Oh, okay. It's got underscores and capital letters and small letters and
all over. Yeah, all over.
XXX. No.
Jeremy, as my co-host this week, I want to say thank you for joining me to interview these guys. Tell us where we can find you on the socials and what you're working on right now.
On Twitter, I'm found at Studio Zade. If you guys want to check out what I'm doing, I'm currently working on BECKONED RECOURSE. It's in Indiegogo sign up right now. It's a dark fantasy. I'm really kind of putting all my art prowess into it. It's my first debut book. So if you want to check me working on it, every Friday at 8 p.m. I do at Zade Studios. I do a live stream where everyone comes in, and it's a roast fest. We have fun. It's not just a boring draw stream. We're actually making jokes and making fun of each other and making fun of how long it's taken me to do this. So it's good stuff. But if you want to get anything, again, we have a prototype game on Steam, so called Beckon. So if you want to check that out, it's for free. Go try it out. Let us know what you think.
Excellent. Thank you. For my purposes, I have 2 campaigns running right now. One's called Tōrō Tales. You can find that on Indiegogo. You just spell it Tōrō, T-O-R-O, and you'll find it. You don't have to have the fancy symbol above the O. And I've also got Janice Hardy's The Healing Wars, Book 1, Part 1, The Shifter. Both of those are available now on Indiegogo. They are funding and have a couple of weeks left. You can find me on YouTube at Dojo Kun Comics right here, and on Twitter with the same name. So thank you all for being here. I want to say thank you to everyone in the chat. There was a lot of boomerang going on. Sorry I didn't get to pull up everybody's chat, but it looked like Jeremy was saying hey to everybody. So I appreciate that, Jeremy. Everybody, thank you so much for being here, and catch us next week on the Dojo Kun Shill Shack.
Good night.
Later.